Hello neighbor, this is Kurt with eTrailer. Today we're going to take a look at the Konig Self-Tensioning Tire Chains on our 2025 Hyundai Palisade with 245/60 R18 tires. Now if you've got any experience, or you've purchased these tire chains before and you've got some stories to share, go ahead and leave those in the comments below so that we can share them with our other neighbors in order to help them make the best decision for themselves. Now, if you've been looking for a high-quality set of tire chains for your Palisade, you want them to be easy to use, effective, easy to install, and really have a bit more, be more low maintenance as you're out traveling through those snow, icy, muddy conditions. The self-tensioning tire chains from Konig would be an excellent choice. By self-tensioning, I mean that there is a device in here that's going to constantly provide tension as you're driving along, so there's no need to really stop for a lot of adjustments. It's a square link, which means it's going to have some square edges to it, and that's really going to help biting into ice. And another thing about them that's really going to help bite into ice is being a diamond pattern, you're going to constantly have chain contact under the tire at all times. But rather than these coming into a cross when they connect, they come into a square in the middle of the tire that's really going to give you that extra advantage in busting up that tough ice and getting good traction. The diamond pattern of the chain is also going to assist you when you're making turns. That's really what a diamond pattern is known for, so handling shouldn't be too much of a problem when you're using these. These are a Class S compatible chain, so while it might be a little bit tight here in the back, they do indeed fit. And I had mentioned how easy these were to install, so stick around. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now, as we begin our installation, the first thing that I want to do is take out my chain and lay it just flat on the ground. What I am looking for is to make sure that there aren't any twists or kinks in the chain. And if this is a set of tire chains that I've used before, I'm also double checking to make sure there's no previous damage from the last time that I used them. So the other way I have it laid out is with the cable end this way. The attachments have an open end hook to them right here. So I want to lay this face down because when I do apply my tire chains to my tire, I want to make sure that the open end of those hooks are facing away from my sidewall. So everything is looking good with my chains right now. What I'm going to do next is do this separation here in the front. I'm going to take my chain and I'm going to feed it around the back of my tire. And what I'm also going to do is make sure that that open end that we had on the chain, that we get those coming out right about there. Now I'm going to take my cable end along with the chain, kind of try to keep control of it as much as you can, but I'm going to try to drape it over the front like this as I bring it up and around and make my connection. Now my connection point under here is going to be simply slipping through and then over to connect. So really, really easy to make it attached, even when you're wearing gloves, which by the way, I always recommend whenever you're working with snow chains, not only to protect your hands, but because generally speaking, when it's time to apply snow chains, the weather's going to call for gloves anyway. Once I have everything draped over kind of evenly, I'm trying to center it on the center of the tire, I'm going to go ahead and make my attachments right here. So another great thing about these tire chains is that they kind of color code all of these attachments, which makes it really easy for you to figure out what goes where, and will help you out if you ever have to put them on in like at night or in a low light condition during a storm or something like that. So I'm going to bring all of this around as evenly as I can. Now the next step is going to be to take this attachment, open it up. I'm going to slip this in and through. And I'm just going to end up with this open loop here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull this as tight as I can, get some good tension on it down here, and I'm going to have this exposed red loop here. That's going to be attached to this hook. Now this hook is what makes this self-tensioning. This is going to have constant tension put on it. So I'm going to pull this all the way down, attach it. This is a hard plastic, so I'm not terribly worried about it doing any damage, but I do like to make sure that the hook ends are always facing out anyway, just in case. And that's really it. You may notice it's kind of loose a little bit or low on this end. Being self-tensioning, as I pull this forward, this is going to constantly pull against those looser ends at the bottom of the tire. So this wouldn't be a tire chain that you're constantly stopping and doing readjustments to make sure that they are tight around the tire. So like I said, installation is really easy. It doesn't require you to get underneath the vehicle to make the attachments on the bottom and on the top like some of the manual tensioning ones do. So if you're looking for something that's really easy to apply on your Palisade, you know, you're on the go or it's an emergency situation, you got to get somewhere, or you're on a vacation that requires you to have snow chains in the car in order to go over certain roads, this would be an excellent choice for you and your Hyundai Palisade. I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.